Amy?
Humans, we are a social species, and many of us tend to look for validation from our friends, from our family, or even others outside of just ourselves.
All right, but you also need to remember that validation has to come from within, too. Dr. Laura Saunders, a psychologist and director of the Hartford Healthcare Center for Gender Health, is checking in with a few important reminders about that good job you want to hear. Hey, Doc, good job. How are you?
Thank you. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday Eve. Yes, and we are talking about validation and the importance of self-validation. We've become a culture that is obsessed with validation, likes, followers, thumbs ups, and all the different things that happen certainly through social media.
Go ahead. I was telling Nicole this story. I was at the home show at the convention center this weekend, and many people came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you lost weight, you look fantastic." But one guy came up to me and said I look like an expletive, and I walked away the whole day with that guy's thought, and it was terrible, and I felt really bad. Can you help me?
Yes, so that is what we call the negative filter, right? So where the negative filter is where all of those positive things just sort of bounce off your emotional wall, and the one negative out of all the positives comes right in and sort of cuts at you. So you have to label that as the negative filter and then have to actively remind yourself of all the other great things that people said.
Okay.
So what is the psychology behind this need of wanting that approval from people? What are we looking to acknowledge?
So we are a social species. We need some sense of validation. We need connection. We need that. We need to be able to say to our friend, "Oh, I've had a terrible day," and have your friend say, "I'm sorry you've had a terrible day," right? We need some of that. We need that from our spouses, but we should not be getting that from our children. But we need it. So it's just sort of tipped the scales, and that the need has become obsessive. And again, that's why, we all know those people that post on social media every little tiny detail of their life, especially the bad things, because they want that attention.
But you say craving affirmation shouldn't be perceived as a social failure.
Right. We all need some affirmation. It's when it becomes excessive.
Okay.
It's when our day is defined by how many likes or followers we get on our social media pages. And there's so many young people these days that really define their self-worth by their likes and followers.
That's so unfortunate.
It really is.
The social media has just presented a little bit more complication, it feels, into this. So I guess the big question is, how do we reach within and learn how to validate ourselves so we don't need any outside validation or affirmations from other people?
Well, it starts with acknowledging your feelings. And Scott's example is a perfect one, right? He has his great day. He has all these people saying these great things. And that one negative thing sort of pierces through the negative filter. So really acknowledging how you feel. And then once you can acknowledge and identify it, then you can take steps to do something about it. It is about celebrating your achievements. So if you've done something, if you've, gone on an exercise program and lost some weight or eating healthy, you've done something, acknowledge your own success and not always wait for other people to acknowledge that success.
Well, we want to acknowledge you. We think you're terrific. We're out of time, but we love you, and thank you for your sage advice.
Every week.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too. Thanks, Dr. Saunders.